What if your greatest adversary isn't the world, but a part of you that refuses to be seen? A part that secretly works to ensure your failure. That feeling of fighting an invisible force, of sensing something holding you back from reaching your true potential, it's not just your imagination. It's the echo of an inner battle most of us are fighting without even having the tools to understand it. Many go through life feeling inadequate or lost, trying to fix the external symptoms without ever looking at the true source of the problem. That source has a name, a dangerous and misunderstood concept introduced by one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century, the shadow. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, described it as our other self, the dark, unknown side of our personality. It's the storage room for everything we repress, our fears, insecurities, primal desires, and even our undeveloped talents. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the human psyche to explore what the shadow really is. More importantly, you'll learn how to identify yours, understand its language, and ultimately integrate it, transforming your greatest saboteur into your most powerful ally on the path to authentic personal growth. Now that you understand there's an invisible force at play, it's time for the most courageous step, facing it. This isn't an act of self-punishment, it's soul archaeology. The shadow, as popularized by Carl Jung, represents all the parts of ourselves we've repressed, the traits we label as unacceptable, inferior, or bad. But it also holds our strongest instincts, raw creativity, and hidden potential. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away, it just makes it stronger and more self-sabotaging. Knowing your shadow is your first real act of power, because you can't integrate what you don't recognize. Start by paying attention to your harshest judgments of others. What you most despise in someone else is often a distorted reflection of a part of you that you've rejected. Also notice your disproportionate emotional reactions, those sudden bursts of anger or shame that seem to come out of nowhere. These are gateways to your shadow. Write these moments down, without judgment. This is your first map to the territory of your shadow. With map in hand, the journey deepens. We're not here to eliminate the shadow, doing so would mean cutting off a vital part of yourself. The goal is integration, bringing what's in the dark into the light of awareness. It's a dialogue, not a battle. To integrate is to bring into the light, to recognize, to accept. It's an act of courage that transforms the destructive energy of the shadow into a constructive force. Instead of being driven by impulses you don't understand, you learn to use them to your advantage. When you feel the anger you've always repressed, don't just push it down. Ask, what are you trying to protect? What boundary was crossed? When envy surfaces, ask, what does this tell me about my own unfulfilled desires? By giving voice to your shadow in a conscious, safe space, you don't let it take over, you transform it from a tyrant into a wise advisor. But here lies a dangerous trap, one of the most socially accepted masks we wear to hide from our shadow, our professional identity. We're taught to define ourselves by our achievements, titles, and careers. But what you do is only a sliver of who you are. When your identity is fused with your profession, every work-related failure becomes an existential crisis. You become fragile, dependent on external validation and terrified of failure, because failure no longer just threatens your income, it threatens your sense of self. Ask yourself, if you lost your job tomorrow, who would you be? What would be left once the mask falls away? It's in the void of that question that you discover your true self, beyond society's expectations. In that space, we inevitably meet the gatekeeper of our unrealized potential, fear. Fear isn't just an emotion, it's a navigation system. It points directly to what we most need to face. The fear of failure shows you where courage is needed. The fear of rejection reveals the need for self-acceptance. The fear of the unknown lights the path toward growth. Your fear isn't a stop sign, it's a compass pointing to your next level. Your task isn't to eliminate fear, but to act in spite of it. Identify one thing you've been avoiding out of fear. It doesn't have to be big, it could be a tough conversation, or starting that small project. Take one step, however small, in the direction of that fear. That simple act weakens fear's grip and strengthens your own power. And finally, we arrive at the most uncomfortable, and most liberating, truth of all. A happy life is not a life without darkness. It's a life that embraces it just enough. Trying to live only in the light, denying anger, sadness, or frustration, leads to a fragile, inauthentic, and ironically unhappy existence. Light is only visible because it contrasts with the dark. Courage exists because fear does. Strength is forged through adversity. To embrace the darkness means allowing yourself to feel the full range of human emotion without becoming consumed by it. It means understanding that failure teaches, pain strengthens, and uncertainty creates space for miracles. The goal isn't to get rid of the shadow or fear, but to learn how to dance with them. To understand that life is a cycle of light and dark, and true mastery is learning to navigate both, with intention and awareness. When you embrace that measured darkness, you don't become dark. You become whole. And with that wholeness, you're finally ready to stop fighting yourself, and start building a life that is truly your own. So, we've reached the end of our journey today, but the beginning of yours. You looked into the abyss of your shadow, not to lose yourself in it, but to reclaim the power you once exiled. You've learned that action precedes identity, that who you become is shaped by what you do, not the other way around. And finally, you faced your fear, not as a wall, but as a compass pointing you toward the very thing you need most to grow. The purpose of this video was never to offer easy answers or a painless path. It was to hand you a key, radical acceptance of who you are in your entirety. A life of purpose isn't one without darkness. It's a life where light and shadow dance in harmony, guided by your will. Failure, pain, uncertainty, they're not signs to quit. They're fuel for your transformation. They're proof that you're alive, and that you're on the right path. So now, the question isn't, what should I do? It's, what will I do with the power I've just recognized within me? Let that question echo. What part of your shadow will you choose to integrate starting today? Share your reflections in the comments, if you feel called to. Your journey may inspire someone else's. And if this message stirred something within you, if this search for deeper truth is also yours, then join us. Like this video so this idea can reach others walking their own path through the dark. And subscribe, with notifications on, so you don't miss the next step in our exploration of the human experience. Remember, true freedom isn't breaking your chains. It's learning to carry them, with purpose.